we wanted to go over the exam format for you. It will be, as we said in the epilogue, an open book exam. Again, there are no electronic devices that you can take, so even if you have all of the collab notebooks saved to your iPad or tablet, you won't be allowed to bring that in. For best results, try to print out whatever materials you need to. Of course, it helps to have some type of cheat sheet that makes it easier to refer to key findings that you find important. You could, for example, print the revision slides that we're going to go over in the next part of the lecture. That might help you revise and index your materials accordingly. Now, approximately 30 to 40% of the exam will be in the format of the midterm, which is going to be MCQ and MRQ. The topics will not necessarily be in order, but we're going to, again, try to keep to the idea that there will be about 100 points for the exam, meaning 120 minutes in total. So roughly, you should think about 1 point per minute. So if you see an exam question that's worth 10 points, try your best to spend no longer than 10 minutes on the exam. You can see this by looking at the question paper's cover point. Here you can see that probably the first question, which was the multiple choice that year, contained 20 marks. So about 20% of your time should be spent for this, right? So maybe about 20 minutes or so. I have written a couple past final exams that you can refer to. Again, the NUS Digital Library has all of these, but no answers to them. If you want answers to the questions, you might ask on the forum or come to some of the consultation hours that will be posted later. So what will be covered during the exam? Actually, all the topics that we've covered in the pre and post lectures through the slides will be examined. There'll be likely one programming question, but where the suitable function calls or prototypes or library information is given to you already. We're not looking for exact answers here. We're looking for your rough sketch and logic about how you're going to approach a question. And that means pseudocode, even if it's not syntactically correct, will be largely okay. There'll be other sections of materials that might have appeared, for example, supplementary slides, but they're not going to be covered directly. If you have any doubts, you can ask on the forum. Here's probably the most helpful slide that's going to illustrate what we're going to cover. Now in the midterm, we've already covered all the things that we covered in the first half of the course, which include the paradigms of learning, concept learning, naive Bayes and k-nearest neighbors, linear classifiers of several sorts, including the perceptron algorithm, linear regression and logistic regression, okay, bias, variance, and overfitting. These topics made up what we saw in the midterm, so there'll be less emphasis on those topics as we go into the final. In the second half, which is what we're going to test you most about, will be on this blue part. This considers the regularization and validation that we had covered before the midterm but never tested, neural networks and deep learning, decision trees and ensembles, and then the two other pillars of machine learning, which is unsupervised and reinforcement learning. And finally, machine learning ethics. Ethics is the one topic we never had a chance to do tutorial on. So even though there's no tutorial on it, you can bet that it will show up on the exam. Make sure to revise. To help you with that, there has been the pre-notebook, which I hope you tried to fill out in more detail for week 13. 2 or 3 of the questions may have calculation. They may be more time-consuming to do, but they should be relatively easy and straightforward. Make sure you don't forget your scientific or four-function calculator. You're going to need it for some of the questions. Other questions are going to be short answer and thinking essay questions, which you'll have a chance to argue your correct answer. For many of these, there may not be a single correct answer, Again, we're looking for your idea of judgment. And even though you may mean something, it's very important to explain it properly in your essay. We're not able to come and talk to you to see how you interpreted what you wrote on your essay.